blurry state. Is that,
yeah,
is that how you recall it?
I think so. I think so. I think in the moment of watching it, I do feel that the first half felt slow, and kind of a bit laboured, and that was definitely kind of my feeling in the moment. Obviously, I think Harry had an attempt in the first half. He had basically 3 attempts doing the same thing, and it worked. Worked the third time. So there's definitely a plan in terms of let's try and work within a system to try and break them down to therefore get the opportunity to score a goal.
Yeah.
And let's not just run around and knacker ourselves out and leave loads of gaps everywhere and get screwed over. There was definitely a method to what they were doing, and you could therefore see that game plan. So very much in the patience is a virtue. Let's follow the plan, work the system. Let's not all just lose our shit in the 30th minute because we haven't scored yet and everyone's getting a bit grumpy. Let's just do what it is we need to do and, trust the process almost.
But what surprised me, and I noticed it was definitely more obvious in the second half because the guy that sits next to me tends to get a little bit agitated when we do this. But we started to there were a couple more times where we risked. I felt we risked the ball more.
Right, yeah.
So where we tried to play out from the back, and we deliberately tried to just play across the back, draw them forward, play through, encourage the person to come onto us so that we could just move the ball on. And we went from back to front doing that really, really well.
Yeah.
All the while, I had the guy next to me going off. Why I hate that? Why do they keep doing that? I absolutely hate that. That's a great shot. Unlucky. Unlucky. He was unlucky there, weren't he?
but that's what I'm saying is it's a more methodical way to play, and you can see this is what they're trying to do, which is better than it just being haphazard nonsense where everyone's just running around chasing a ball like you would do in the playground, and then we leave ourselves exposed and they take advantage of it. So it was definitely, I understand that it feels more frustrating to watch because it is a slower pace of game. It feels like, we just, we follow a process, and at any point it breaks down, then we start, just reset and start all over again type thing. But I think Conte is definitely trying to teach them a system and a way of playing football, which is appropriate to the occasion and the team you're playing, and teaching them how to stick with a plan, not just abandon it within the first third of the match because it's not going quite right.
Yeah.
Which we know they've got form of doing because I think this was what was being trotted out when they were under Mourinho, which is they didn't like his system, they didn't like what we were telling him, so they just fucking ignore him and do their own thing, and it all turned to shit.
Yeah, but I think there's an element of management that comes in with that, and that is where ultimately Conte is probably a better man manager than Mourinho, because I think Conte wants to relate to the players and build that. He wants to build a massive relationship with the players, and whereas Mourinho is like, well,
my way or fuck off.
I've won everything, mate. You do what I say. Like,
no, sure. I'm not just absolutely, but I guess the point of that is, therefore, you get players in that example. You get players to believe in the system you're trying to create, and who are more willing to do it. But that's perfect. And
Ben Davies was quoted, I think, during the week before the game, as saying, so after the Chelsea game and all the shit that we took for that. Celebrating a last minute equaliser and all that sort of bollocks. But he was quoted as saying that the players would literally run through brick walls for Conte. So that is that's what you want to build up. You need to build that up, don't you? And that's clearly what he's doing within the framework of how he likes to play. So I want to come back though, Simon, to one of the points I think you said about the structure and like the method, and pass, be patient method. Don't run around like headless chickens. I do feel that within the game there is still and within our team, there's still space for that, because I feel that, I'm not saying he runs like a headless chicken, but when Richarlison has come on in the last two games, he has added an energy and an urgency that has been kind of missing, and has changed the complexion of the game, and meant that we kind of we kind of took the game away from Wolves in terms of their ability to hurt us, I think, when he came on, and gave us the impetus again against Chelsea to go on and help to get claw that goal back, the goal back. So I think there is a space for that.
But is that not? But is he? I guess the question is that he's doing a job within the specific system. Yes, he's providing energy and he's reigniting the tempo, and and sort of like fresh legs in a different perspective, whatever. But still playing within a system and doing the job that he's
within the structure. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Yeah, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? You just you're replacing Sutton, who all right, he was there on, what was it? I was just having a look at 76 minutes. So with 15 minutes left to go, Sonny doesn't look like he's anywhere. He's had a couple of attempts, but not really got on target. And okay, you're going to bring on somebody else when you want to score that goal.
Are we overreacting with Son, or do you feel this is Son as normal in terms of easing his way into the season? Because I thought personally he was quite poor on Saturday. I don't think he was great against Chelsea either. So is he like, is he tired? He's been he's had no real time off, because obviously when they had time off, he was over in Korea, and then we went and joined him, and he probably had no time off really.
I think he's. I mean, he is clearly suffering. Either he's having just a slow start, or he's tired, or whatever it is, which is a bit of a shame because it's not going to get any easier for him. So, I hope it's just maybe he's just off the boil a little bit and he'll come into his own. Conversely, of course, Harry doesn't score in August or September, does he? So, it's just one of those things. It's like he's having a bit of a rough start and Harry's having a really good start.
Well, to be fair, I think the Harry doesn't score in August and September thing was kind of put to bed a couple of seasons ago, and it's just last season that he had a shit start because he was, he'd been distracted by Gary Neville, to be honest. But he's kind of, I think he's kind of broke the back on that one, fortunately, and hopefully that'll be, I think he looked sharp in pre-season as well, so he's carrying that through. I'm just hoping. I think the good thing from our perspective is, even if Sonny is kind of slightly off the boil at the moment, we've finally got someone of equal standard that will come in and will give us some impetus. Deki Kulusevski was waxing lyrical about him, about Richarlison today, about coming on and the hunger that he's showing, and that he feels that he can learn something from him in terms of that hunger and desire to score. So it just feels like around the place, where it's a happy camp at the moment. They're all positive and pulling in the right direction.
Well, and that's exactly, and I think that's the whole. I suppose you can take multiple things from that, which is, the point of a team is that when one of your players is not at his best, and then you have other options and you all sort of rally around and support each other, and the manager does what is the right thing for the success of the team, rather than tearing down the ones that are just not quite there at the minute. So that, I suppose, lends itself to the kind of those comments, and not making someone who probably doesn't feel that great because they're not firing on all cylinders feel even worse. And that will only help them to get back on form, rather than give them more things to worry about.
Yeah, I think so. So I want to give a special mention, I think, to Højbjerg, because I don't think he gets the praise and the credit that he deserves. I think he's very consistent on what he does. I thought that, again, I don't know if I just wasn't paying enough attention to the game, or I have different expectation to some people, but I didn't think Bentancur had a great game, but yet still I saw a lot of people praising him for his performance. And I thought he wasn't that great, but I thought Højbjerg was quite consistent in what he did in terms of, breaking up the game, being that little annoying little person that if it gets niggly, he's always there to, to niggle the other team and to get involved. But he also, for the move that led to the corner for the goal, he's the one that played the pass into Perisic. It was a lovely waiting pass in out into the wide area. He was breaking through to get us into that position. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does, and I certainly am happy to see him stay on the pitch. In preference, for example, for Perisic for Bentancur in a game that was as tight as it was on Saturday.
Again, I think it's one of those things. Unfortunately, with Højbjerg, it's kind of like if he has a bit of a shocker because he gets it wrong or gets taken for a ride, everyone seems to just jump on him, and for some reason he's got this kind of Marmite. The fans are very hot and cold with him, so I don't quite get it. I think he kind of got him. I think that his job is a pretty tough job, and you don't get it right 100% of the time, but I think he gets it right more than he gets it wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I think just obviously building on that, there's obviously there's a piece that Jonathan Liu wrote in the Guardian that Lee highlighted, where he kind of says that I'll read it for you. So he says Tottenham's midfield has been a problem for 2 or 3 years now and remains their biggest barrier to a title challenge. Conte's 3-4-3 places a huge burden on the midfield too, are frequently outnumbered by smart technical sides such as Chelsea last week and Wolves on Saturday. The issue is not so much personnel. So he's saying that Højbjerg and Bentancur are fine players, but control. When the front three and wing backs can coordinate their press and win the territorial battle, as happened in the second half, it works. When they can't, Spurs look vulnerable. So I think it's an interesting point, an interesting angle, because Jonathan starts the piece by saying that the midfield are the problem, but actually highlights the fact that it's the attack and the wing backs that the attack and the wing backs that trigger. And so is it really the midfield, or is it actually the system?
Well, this is the thing, right? So last week against Chelsea, you had Royal and you had Sessegnon.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already said, well, Sessegnon, needs to toughen up and can get himself into a little, not a bit of trouble, but I suppose can get bullied off a bit by some more mature players. And on the other side, you've got Royal, who again can be, can do something great and then do something awful all within the same 60 seconds. So it's kind of like, therefore, Højbjerg and Bentancur in the middle have got to either try and double up, bail them out, or whatever it is. So I think, it for me is, as you said, it's putting possibly an undue criticism on the two strongest people in the middle, when actually the ones on the sides are the ones where you need them to improve a bit.
Yeah, they need to, and I mean, this is an evolving process, isn't it? It's an evolving system and it's an evolving process. The players are growing into the role, and for all the kind of the criticism, and I can't remember, there was a I don't know who wrote the piece, but there was a piece in the Mail on Sunday or the Mail or something where they were saying about